Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and we're at Place Besse here in Paris. This is where we always stay when we come to Paris, and we love this place. And today what we're going to do for you is give you a video of what you should know before you come to Paris, to give you kind of some helpful tips so you actually know what you should know before you come so you're better prepared. This is really helpful for people that are coming to Paris for the first time or maybe their second time, to give you some really good background of what you should know and shouldn't know, okay? Now, the first thing you should know is, look, when you're coming to Paris, it's always going to be busy. Just realize that, okay? There's always high season in Paris because it's such a beautiful place. So when you're looking to come, I recommend coming in the early fall or the late spring, because then you don't have like the school kids coming and things like that, and you have more of the city to yourself. Because if you come in the summer, in July and August, when all the tourists from around the world are coming here, or at Christmas time when it's just so beautiful here, this place gets really packed and the prices go up in the hotels and things like that. So you can come kind of like in the lower high seasons, you're going to be better off. If you come in the peak high seasons, get ready for crazy lines and higher prices, okay? The next thing you should think about is, what are you going to see when you come to Paris? Because maybe you're coming for a long weekend, or maybe you're coming for a week, because there's enough stuff in Paris to fill up a long weekend or 2 weeks here, because there's a lot of tons of great museums that you've heard about. Yes, go see the Mona Lisa and Wing Victory at the Louvre. Go to the Musée d'Orsay to see the Impressionisms. Go and explore some of the other smaller museums around the city. There's tons of them out there. You can go to the Rodin Museum to see the sculptures and all kinds of stuff. There's just tons and tons of museum stuff to see, but also there's tons of churches. Saint Jean de Montmartre right behind me is a cool church. Obviously go to Notre Dame and walk through there and see where the Glockner, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, you know, rang the bells and stuff like that. And you can go see all kinds of great churches, Saint Denis, all kinds of cool churches all around the city. That's really cool. Also, when you're looking at other things to see, obviously you want to go to the Eiffel Tower. The thing is, the Eiffel Tower, you can go up it, you have to pay to go up, and if you are claustrophobic, I will warn you, the lines get really smushed, and when you go up the elevator, you're like this. And I know when I went up there with Jocelyn the first time, she only made it up the first level, and she's like, I can't do any more elevators. Because when you go, it's multiple levels. You go up one, and then you can go up to the top if you want, and it's different prices for each one. But just know, if you get claustrophobic, it's probably not for you. And that kind of leads into one of my advice when you do come to Paris, is realize that you can enjoy Paris without spending a lot of money. You can wander around and take in the architecture, the neighborhoods all around Paris. It is great to see these kind of things, and it's free to do. Why not grab a baguette and some cheese and go to the park behind the Eiffel Tower, eat that there, and enjoy the Eiffel Tower from a distance and relax. And that's one of the cool things, is it is easy to relax when you are in Paris, because there's so many different districts to go around. We always stay in Montmartre, up kind of by Sacré-Cœur. That's our kind of like home district when we are here. But you might want to go to the Latin Quarter and see the student section or other parts of town. Make sure you go out and explore, because Paris isn't just these world famous sites you want to see. It's a living city. When you go out and enjoy the different parts of it, it really adds a lot more to your trip. But if it's your first trip, obviously you want to get the main sites. You know, go to the Louvre and see the Mona Lisa, Eiffel Tower, walk the Champs-Élysées to the Arc de Triomphe and get your pictures there and things like that. And what's cool is, if you're going to be staying here longer, I do recommend doing a day trip or two from Paris, because it makes a great base. You can go to the Palace of Versailles and see the opulence there. That is really cool. That's actually my most recommended day trip from here in Paris. If you're a Monet fan, you can go up to Giverny and see his house up there. And what's cool is there's all kinds of trains that go all over France from Paris, and with the TGVs, they're really fast. So you can actually sometimes you can make what you would think would be a few day trip into a day trip. You can get to the Loire Valley in like an hour and a half and go see some chateaus for the day and come back. You can sign up for a tour that'll take you to the D-Day beaches. You can do those things from here. If you've got kids, if you're staying in Paris, yes, you can go to Disneyland Paris. I've actually gone there and these kind of things, and yes, it's just like your Disneyland California or Disney World has those same kind of things there with a little European twist, which is nice. And if you got kids, that might be something fun for them. Also, if you're going to be bringing your kids, realize a lot of places will have kids menu versions of stuff, so ask for the kids version, so it's going to be a cheaper option for food. But also, a lot of places, kids under 18 or under 12 are going to be free to get into some of the museums, which is really cool, because when you got a couple kids with you, in some countries it can really add up to a lot more expensive stuff. Here in Paris, they give a lot of stuff for free with kids, which is fantastic, so you can do that. Okay, so where are you going to stay when you are here in Paris? What you need to realize is hotels in Paris are a little bit pricier than average, because this is a really big tourist draw and it's a beautiful city. So the price of a hotel are above average. However, the size of the hotels are below average. So you're gonna have a small room when you are there. If you're gonna be coming, you get a double room, it's probably gonna be 2 single beds. Maybe they're pushed together, maybe they're separate. So if you're gonna have multiple adults or you have multiple kids, like 2 or 3 kids, you might wanna have 2 rooms because you're not gonna be able to fit everybody there. So what I recommend, instead of doing the hotel option, if you got some, rent an apartment. That's what we actually do when we come here. We rent apartments and stay. We actually have the same apartment we've stayed at a few times. It's kind of given our second home in this district here. And if you rent an apartment, what's cool is you have that freedom to go and go and stay as you want. But also what's cool is you can actually use that as your base and save money by eating breakfast there or eating lunch there or dinner there and bring your wine back and stuff like that. Instead of going to restaurants all the time and spending money that way, having your own apartment gives you more space and it gives you ways to save money when you are here. Because one of the cool things about going to Paris is going shopping and going to the fruit stands and the patisseries, the boulangerie, the pastry shops, the bakeries and these kind of things to get your croissants and get all your great food like that. And you can bring it back and enjoy that in your apartment. But if you are going to stay in hotels, realize they are going to be smaller. You're going to think you're paying a lot for a little, but Paris is so great, you're not really going to care about it in the end because you'll be happy you're in Paris. Now, with all these sites and all these things, you might wonder, well, what kind of plug do I need? Now, in the US, we have the 2 flat plugs like this. Here in France, they have 2 circle plugs, which is the same thing all throughout continental Europe. So you're going to use those plugs there. If you have your laptop or you got your tablet or your phone, their plugs will work. You just need to have an adapter that you plug into that will change your plug like this into a plug like this, and you will be okay. In terms of money, they do use the euro here in France. Now, when you get your bills, sometimes you'll see euro and francs on it, and you're like, whoa, what's this higher one here? Oh no, that's francs. So in case we get rid of the euro, people have an idea of what the franc price is or was, or these kind of things. But you do pay euros here. You can use credit cards all over the place. I do recommend you get a credit card with that chip in it. I know pretty much all the credit cards have that now, but not all Americans do have that. Get the new card with the chip. It makes your life a lot easier. If you're going to get money when you are here, the exchange houses, they tend to, I don't usually use them. What I do is I use my debit card from home and the ATMs, and there's plenty of ATMs throughout Paris, so you're going to be okay. Just pay attention when you're getting your money out to know, crazy people are near you. But you can get your ATM out, you'll get your best deal on average using your debit card from your local bank in your ATMs here, so you will be okay that way. People do prefer if you pay with cash, but you can pay with card, it's no big problem. Now, another thing people ask about is, Mark, okay, I've seen all this stuff in Paris and I'm from France and stuff like this, and no one speaks English and everyone's so rude on TV. Is that the truth? No, people in Paris are super nice. Now, when they become waiters or servers and stuff like that, yes, sometimes they do turn to the dark side. And the reason why Paris and France gets that kind of like bad service, bad, mean, rude attitude kind of stereotype is because of the servers in Paris, okay? Don't be surprised if it takes a while to get the l'addition, the bill. L'addition is the bill. Make sure you ask for it. They don't just bring it to you, so make sure you do ask. And what I find is actually works to really soften people up here is just knowing a few words of French. So please is s'il vous plaît, and thank you is merci. Merci. Just knowing a couple words can really break the ice. We don't really have too many problems with the service here, but I have seen people have trouble with the service. But in general, Parisians are super nice. They'll be very helpful. They'll give you your directions and stuff like that. Just know, though, that sometimes the waiters aren't as helpful as you'd hope. Now, another thing with those waiters, when you go to the restaurants, when you get your bill, taxes and service is already included, so you do not have to tip here in Paris. And if you pay with a credit card, they won't even get a lot of the things. They won't even give you a line to write down a tip on there, so it's no big deal. If you want to leave a few euros on top because you had good service and stuff like that, no one's going to say no to that. But put it in cash because that way they'll get it. Otherwise, they won't. Now, when you come to Paris, what you got to realize is coming to France in general is a gastronomical experience. It is a food feast. It is a wine feast. There's so many great foods all throughout France. And what's cool is they all kind of like gets to come here in Paris. And so when you are here, what I do recommend is when you go to the restaurants, one thing is get the menu. And the menu will have it'll say entree, which is like a starter, and then plat, the main plate, and then a dessert. Get that. It's usually your best deal because it'll get you a three-course meal for anywhere from 15 to 30 euros. And remember that 15 to 30 euros, that's the price you pay. So service and taxes is already included. So if you think about it, well, that 20 euro meal actually, it's only like a 15 euro meal because taxes and and services included on that. So it's actually not that bad of a deal when you do it that way. And you get to explore and try more foods. What I do recommend is ask your restaurant what is the special of the day, the plat du jour, and that can, or you know, the plate du maison, the house specialty, and get that, because that's usually your best bet. Now, some kind of traditional foods you should have when you are here in Paris. Obviously, you start your day off with your baguette. You know, the baguettes here, the bread here is fantastic. Your croissants. Pain au chocolat, it's like a croissant with 2 chocolate lines through it. You can have macarons, which are these little like cookie sandwiches that you see here throughout France in multiple flavors. They are fantastic. And what's cool is when you go to the patisserie or the boulangerie, the bakeries, they'll have tarts there as well. You can get of different fruit flavors, and there's all kinds of good stuff that way. Now, if you're looking at in terms of meal time, well, some popular starters you might want to get, you know, yes, the onion soup, the French onion soup. Yes, you actually should have that here. Yes, I know it's over touristy and they overcharge for it, but it is well worth having when you are here. The French onion soup. Also, escargot, the snails. My 9-year-old, every time we've come to France, he gets escargot every time he can because he loves it so much. So you have the snails, that's a traditional one. Frog legs are something that if you can find it, you should at least try one time. They're becoming less and less popular and less restaurants are carrying them. So if you do see it, that can be a nice little entree to start off with. And they might bring other things from all over the place. You might have cheeses or goat cheese from Loire or something like that, or oysters from Brittany and these kind of things. So there's a lot of good starters out there. Main courses that you're gonna like. Look, if you're like, I'm a steak guy, that's fine. You can have entrecôte or steak frite. Entrecôte, like a steak with fries, is totally a normal thing here. Another thing you might look at is the duck, the confit de canard. The confit de canard is the main duck dish you want to have here. That is great out here. Now, there's so many food options here. We actually have a video on what to eat and drink and stuff like that in France and in Paris and stuff like that. So watch that video, those videos, and that'll help you out a bit more in terms of what to eat and drink when you are here. But what I want to say is about the restaurants is what you need to realize is from like 3 until 7, a lot of the restaurants will close or close their kitchens. So it's kind of hard if you're used to your 5 o'clock dinner, your 6 o'clock dinner. Sometimes it's hard to actually get dinner at that time, except if you're really tourist places and then you don't get the really French experience. And so what you need to do is make reservations at some restaurant you've seen in Montmartre or other districts. Go out there and explore there to get better food, more authentic local help and people, and more authentic food, and do that, because especially Fridays and Saturdays, it's hard to get a table, so make sure you make that reservation. Now, if you do need to eat something between those times when it's not open, you can always go get basically a ham and butter sandwich when you go there, the hamon beurre, which is just a baguette with butter and ham inside of it. That's a very typical snack here. You can get a quiche, like quiche Lorraine, which is a ham and cheese quiche, which is a very popular snack to get up there. Make sure you have it chaud, hot. That's a nice thing. Of course, you can always get your croissants and eat those things. You do have that. And if you do miss home and you want your cheeseburger or you want your fast food version of stuff, you can go to Quick, which is like the French version of McDonald's. And what's cool is there, it's fast, it's quick, hence in the name, and it's actually pretty affordable. So if you want to get something, you're like, look, I miss home, I want a burger, it's fast and quick and you'll be out of here. But the thing is, in Paris, there's so many different kinds of restaurants because there's so many international people coming here. You can get Italian, you can get good burgers, you can get Vietnamese food, Chinese food, all kinds of stuff. So you're not limited to just French food, you have international food. But I recommend eating the French food all the time, every day. Oh my God. I had lamb last night. Oh, I about died. My wife had quail. Oh, it was fantastic. And then dessert with the proliferol, the little puff pastry with cream in the middle, and the tarts that are here, all the different fruit tarts you can have. Oh, it is just fantastic to eat here, okay? Now, other things you should know before you come to Paris: how are you going to get around? The metro system, the public transportation system in Paris is fantastic. There's buses, there's the RER, which is like the city train, and you got the metro, which goes everywhere. The Ambes metro stop is right behind me. And literally in Paris, you're not more than 500 meters away from a metro stop pretty much anywhere in the city, which is awesome. They have a super extensive metro system. Make sure you go and buy the tickets, and I recommend they have 1, 3, and 5 day tickets, so you can have one ticket that lasts the entire time. One thing you should know is if you're not going to be using a lot of them, they're not that expensive. You can get them relatively cheap. It's like a €1.70, and they look like this. And what you're going to do is you put them into the machine and you go through, but make sure you take it when you go out, because some stations make you use this to get out. Not too many anymore, but you always want to keep your ticket with you just in case. And they are small, so if you get the like a day ticket or a 5-day ticket, it's this little thing, which can be a little complicated, but just know that you will be fine. I will say when you get on and off the metro and certain stops like Gare du Nord and Gare d'Est, do pay attention to your pockets, because that's where pickpockets are a lot kind of working here, excuse me. And that's why the next thing I should talk about is a lot of people are kind of worried. Is it safe to go to Paris? Look, I'm here with my family, with my wife and kids and my parents, and we are having a great time. And am I worried? No, I am not worried. I've seen a police presence, security presence. You never know what's going to happen when you go anywhere. But I still feel safer here than I do traveling in the US. So you do have that. One thing I will say is watch out for the beggars, watch out for the pickpockets. And the thing is, the pickpockets don't always look like, oh, that's a pickpocket. It might be somebody dressed normal like me. Just pay attention to things. If someone's overly friendly with your bags, just say no thank you, okay? No merci. That's no thank you. No merci. All right. Now, another thing with the transportation here is if you're going to be flying into Charles de Gaulle or Orly, what's cool is the same RER, the same local train goes to two of them. So they're basically two ends of the train. So if you got to go to Charles de Gaulle, you can take the RER B to Charles de Gaulle. There's two different stops there, so you make sure you know which terminal you should go to. Or you can take it the other direction and it'll go to Orly to get the smaller airport there. So that is a really nice thing there, that they're all right on there and you can easily get there. Taxis you can take from the center. They have Uber here, so you can use Uber to get around town. They're fine. I haven't had any problems with the taxis here, so you should be okay with that. And the last thing I want to talk about is leaving Paris, because usually when you come into Paris, you're going to see more of France. And one of the things that gets complicated for tourists is that there's a lot of different train stations here in Paris. So if you're going to be going to Germany, you will leave from one train station like Nord or something like that. But if you're going to go to Normandy, well, you're going to go from the Saint-Lazare station. Or if you want to go to Loire, you're going from Montparnasse. And the thing is, it's tough to know which station you're going to be going to, so make sure you pay attention when you get that ticket. It just doesn't say Paris. It'll have another word after it or two. That's the station you got to go to. And all the train stations are connected with the metro, so you can take a metro to a metro and get to there, no problem. But just know, if you're coming in from Germany and then you're going to go to Loire after that, you're probably going to take a train into Nord and get on a metro or an RER or something like that to get over to Montparnasse, to get the train there. Or if you're going to go to Normandy, you're going to go to Saint-Lazare and take the train from there. So just know there's lots of different train stations here, and it can be a bit complicated if you got a lot of luggage. So pack light so you can enjoy more. You can do great shopping here in Paris, by the way, and anywhere in France. My wife's definitely been doing that. She comes here basically with an empty suitcase and fills it up when she leaves, because the shopping's fantastic for men and for women. So don't worry, this isn't one or the other. Anyway, I hope that helps get a little bit better prepared for visiting Paris. It is a fantastic place. We've got tons of videos, 10 things that'll shock you about visiting Paris, 5 things you're gonna love and hate about visiting Paris, what to eat and drink in France, all on our website at woltersworld.com. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We really appreciate your likes and subscriptions, and if you like videos like this, you're gonna be traveling around and want to learn more, click that subscribe button and you're going to get new videos every Saturday and Wednesday from our YouTube channel. And we just want to say merci and au revoir from Paris. Bye.